Good day, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. Today we want to talk about what you need to know, what you need to learn in order to be successful in human resources. In other words, what basis do you have to rely upon to be more effective in HR? This is no different than any profession. You have to know what to learn, what to study, what to educate yourself about your profession in order to succeed at it. Through formal education, we learn, of course, about histories and sciences and engineering and economics and law, political science, math, and languages from English to French to Russian to Spanish. All have a role. All subjects have a role in education in our society. And in human resources, we have our own educations that we should learn. First, though, since human resources deals with employees, we know that we optimize human potential. I look at a number of skills that today's workers need to have. Some of these are what human resources are going to help people have. The skills of today's workers is first, they have to be very well read. It becomes challenging to accomplish in your position if you don't have the requisite knowledge. So today's more complex organizations and globalized workforce requires people to have a wider degree of knowledge. Second, people have to understand about rhetoric. It's the ability to speak eloquently and intellectually to a chosen audience, to be able to convey your thoughts. And I think that for the positions, especially that pay more, you have to have a degree of eloquence. Rhetoric is what we call it. Third is logic. Logic refers to the rigid and comprehensive debate and analysis of an issue, the ability to research an issue and come up with a reasoned conclusion. May be the most important skill. That flows into the fourth, which is judgment. Judgment is not just being well read and mastering rhetoric and understanding logic, but it's also making a reasoned and sound conclusion. This means that you don't listen to the ego, you don't listen to jealousies, hate, love, some of the emotions. Instead, you really have solid judgment based on solid information. So those are the four attributes of today's workers. We take those into account when we're in human resources because we have our own set of attributes. The reason I talked about those four aspects of what the average employee should have today, in the workplace. In human resources, the very first attribute that we should study or know is people. Sociology is a study of people. We should have a great understanding of human capital, the drives, motivations, the challenges, the stresses of people. The more we learn about people, the more that we can craft a plan to overcome some of the challenges of working with other people, but also to take advantage of the strengths. The second thing we need to know in human resources is the theories that underline our profession. Leadership theories, management theories, motivational theories. These theories are what we rely upon to implement our strategies and practices in the workplace. So if we understand the theories within our discipline, which is human resources, then we have a better chance of relying upon some of those theories to make better decisions. You don't use all of them, and you adapt some of them, but you have to be aware of them so that you know what you need to adapt and what would work in your organization. The third is that you have to understand the practices in human resources. There's theories and studies that people do, but there's also practices where some in the industry, we often call them best practices. And these are more current informations that you would use or knowledges. So you may hear of another city or another organization that's trying something new in human resources. You try to adapt that to your organization. So you have to understand practices. Where do we get that? You join organizations, clubs. You read magazines, industry magazines. Within HR, it's called SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management. They also have a great website. So that's where you get the practices. And last, you got to know about the future of work. Human resources, as I mentioned, optimizes human potential. We need to know where the industries are going. We need to know where our workplace is going. We need to know how globalization is going to affect our workplace. We have a tremendous impact today on globalized firms, and so we have to understand how that impacts our own work. We have to understand how rising benefits affect our work. We have to understand how the changing regulations through government affect our work. All of those have a role in understanding what the future of work is. Technology is the great liberator for some in this last part of the century. It's created millions of jobs, but also eliminated millions of jobs. So we have to understand that aspect. That has a tremendous impact on work. So those are the 4 things that we should research and learn if we want to have the knowledge necessary to make good decisions in HR. We have to understand people. We have to understand the theories that underline our discipline, which is human resource. We have to understand the current practices. And lastly, we absolutely have to understand the future of work. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. We'll chat again, but I hope you enjoy your day. Good talking to you.